everyone. Thank you for waiting. Sorry for the tech issues again. I think we have some new people here tonight, so I'll give you a little rundown on what's happening first. We normally multi-stream with Brian MacFarlane, but he had a last-minute trip to do, so he's not here tonight. So last minute, we had to move the show to my channel. But with me is Jeff Zanzibar, if everyone wants to say hi. Say hi, Jeff.
Hi, everybody.
I am trying to lower the volume on the show so I can interact with the chat on my phone. Give me 1 second, guys. All of this is like last minute, so it messed us up a bit. Let's see, now I should be able to lower the volume. There we go. Okay. Now let's see who's here. I see Super Mario Brothers 3 is here. Digital Man. We have Pushing Button 62. High Pockets, Ryogami Mikado. And so far, that's all I see in the chat. I did post a link in Facebook. I did see new people who wanted to come. Analog Lime is here. So I guess what we're going to do is we're going to start off with Jeff's from last week that we did on Curiouser show. You ready to present, Jeff? All set? Yeah. All right, yep. Here we go. I'm going to get right into it.
All right, credit goes to me on this one. A Beastie Boys song is different from our memory, and we are curious to know what you remember. Please fill in the blank. No sleep, blank, Brooklyn.
You could say it.
True. How do you spell till in the song?
Exactly, yeah. Okay, for those who don't know the song at all, you could just tell us how you would spell till. How is everybody doing tonight? Everyone doing well? How you doing, Jeff?
Doing pretty good.
Okay, let's see. We have Analog Line with TIL. Pushing Buttons with TIL. Ryugamin is guessing but says TIL. What did I miss here, Super Mario Brothers? Oh, Ryugamin says, oh wait, I thought we canceled. No, we didn't cancel. Maybe Brian canceled, but I didn't cancel. Anyone else want to chime in? Hi, Benita. Benita just got here. I mean, it's 100% TIL. We can go on if you want.
Yeah. We remember No Sleep Till Brooklyn with 1 L, but it's 2 L's now. Do you remember 2 L's?
Hi, Hanavi. Benita also remembers TIL. Noise Guru is here. Did you get my email? I did my best. I have no idea what the other thing.
And hi to Noise Guru, Benita, Hanavi, and Preliminal.
Preliminal just jumped in too. Hey. I agree, High Pockets. TILL is not short for until, except it actually is now. And that is the issue. That's an old Mandela effect, but the fact that this song is now TILL is the new one. Exactly. TILL is a cash register.
Yep.
Exactly, Benita. So, has anyone ever seen the umlauts over the O in Brooklyn? Because this is on a couple of their, or specifically this album, I believe. Just this album cover for the single. I've never seen umlauts on the O's in Brooklyn, ever.
No, me either. Doesn't belong there. There's no reason for it to be there.
Mm-mm. Let's see if Benita says no. High Pockets, don't remember that. And just to be clear, it's not on everything. It's just this one. Pushing buttons, I don't think so. So here's a lot of residue. This is not the smallest residue folder tonight. I went a little crazy with one of them because I was the only one who remembered it like that. Digital Man says, nope, and I lived there. Noise Guru's only seen these as white labels.
And of course, there's the Volkswagen residue right there.
Which is a good catch by Jeff.
Yeah.
So it's the European. Maybe that's why they added the umlauts.
Maybe.
The European cover on the LP.
Lots of residue. That's what it was. It was so stupid with the two L's.
And I remember it like the bottom with the apostrophe before the T.
Yeah, me too.
High Pocket says apostrophe TIL makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm. And there's that stupid new way again.
It
The
looks
middle.
so dumb. It looks so dumb.
Really does. Oh, how does it always skip on me like that? There we go.
There's a ton of residue, guys. Sorry. We went a little crazy on this one, too. But I guarantee you there is one folder tonight with more residue than anything. We're going to fly through that.
So what is this here on this? It's on the CD?
Where?
Or is that just... Oh, I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm. High Pocket says with capital T, they're treating it as a standalone word. Pushing Button says it looks weird. I agree.
Yep. That's another change right there. Licensed to ill. It was licensed to ill.
I have a dual memory of that. Then again, the movie is Licensed to Drive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It probably was licensed. I mean, yeah.
Don't tell me that changed too.
I don't know. I don't think so. No, it's still licensed.
Good. That would really drive me crazy. No pun intended.
Mm-hmm. Benita remembers license. Pushing Buttons remembers license.
Nice. Looks like that's it for that one.
Okie dokie then. So that was the only repeat tonight. The rest are all new. It's gonna be a weird night, guys. The stuff I'm showing you is weird. I'm just giving you a heads up. It's all strange stuff. It's just strange. It's all I gotta say. It's stuff that shakes my head. I don't know. You'll see. You'll see.
So where are we going next?
You're going left to right as you go up from the bottom. So whatever's to the left of License to Ill. Okay, there we go, guys. So, credit part 1, Theresa, Lynch. Part 2 was me because, I can't look at something and then not see other stuff. But before we even start, can you zoom in on that beautiful white star line poster from back in the day? The A has that weird V inside of it. The L is just weird. I don't remember it looking like that. But TIT in Titanic is all emerged on that 1912 poster. So, just want to point that out before we start.
Yeah, that's weird.
So what? I didn't read it.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. And you skipped over 2, so keep going. When it comes to the Titanic, many things have been Mandela. The smokestacks, the movie, even the overall design of the ship. This time, it's the actual sinking that has a lot wrong with it. So we're talking about the sinking of the Titanic. When the Titanic started to sink, this is question 1, everyone, for you guys in the chat. What color flares do you remember being set off? Red, white, blue, green, or none? You don't remember any flares. What do you remember? Write it in the chat, please. And while they're answering, Jeff, what do you remember?
I don't, actually.
So none, or you don't remember?
I just don't remember.
You don't remember, okay. Well, Hanabi says, haven't seen the movie in a while, but white. High Pockets doesn't know. Pushing Buttons doesn't know. It's okay. I guarantee some of the questions tonight in this presentation you will be able to answer. Benita says, I want to say white, but I'm not sure. Pushing Buttons never saw the movie. I'm surprised you guys never saw documentaries or anything either. It's been everywhere.
I never watched much of anything on it, and I definitely don't like the movie. I was forced to watch it once, and I didn't pay attention. An ex-girlfriend made me watch it with her.
I saw it in the theater, and spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, even though it's been like 20 years. When they were floating in the water and Jack was holding on, shivering. So you know how long the movie was and how far into the movie that was. While we were sitting there, we watched the film burn up on the screen. And we had to sit there for like 40 minutes waiting for them to fix it to see the end of the movie. It was horrible. We were there for like 5 hours. Horrible. Okay, so Digital Man says probably red. Analog Line doesn't remember any. High Pockets is guessing white. And High Pocket says, I've always believed it was the Olympic that sank. Okay, we can go on. I did not know that. Super Mario Brothers says, did you know there exists a full alternate unreleased version of Titanic? Excuse me a minute. Sorry. Unreleased version of Titanic, including deleted subplot with Jack's friend Fabrizio. Now, I did know there was a subplot with Fabrizio, but I did not realize that there was a full alternate unreleased version. I just thought that was a deleted scene, like a subplot that was deleted. So this is the part that Theresa found. In 2021, the box of rockets, I'm calling them flares because that's what I know them as, aboard the Titanic were found. However, it is being inaccurately described by many sources, including major networks like CBS. So the inaccurate reporting is Titanic's flares. If you look closely, you can see different colors. No, you can't. The image of the flares has been circling the internet, stating the colors on board the Titanic were red, green, blue, and white. But according to the manifest, this isn't true. The colors observed are from brass corrosion in the seawater. So the way brass corrodes in seawater, and when it was in the sea, the salt air in the sea when it was on board, it makes greens and blues, and that's why you're seeing colors from the corrosion. The colors weren't on the casings like that. And there were no colors, which you're going to see. So at the top, it says, no international standard for distressed rockets back in 1912. Because they were trying to discover if there was like a color. Titanic was supplied with 36 silvery white rockets. So that's what the manifest said. 36 silvery white rockets. Not red, not green, not colors like they're claiming in that photo. Silvery white, that's all they had. And green, which we'll get to. The White Star Line supplied the Titanic with 2 color flares. Green, the White Star Line color for their ships to identify themselves, and silvery white to be used for any distress signal. So they had green, but it was only to be like, hey, we're a White Star Line ship. Okay. So images showing a white flare are accurate to this reality. If you remember learning or seeing in documentaries or films that the flares were a different color, this could be a possible Mandela effect for you. If you remember white, like everyone's saying, it's not.
Damn it. I could always do that.
If you do not recall seeing any flares at all, I am included in this. This is also a Mandela effect for you. Who else said none? Someone else said none. Oh, Analog Line. But there are 2 things I find interesting about the flares that could also be a change in our history. 1, that the color of the flares did not matter at all. And 2, despite green and silvery white being the colors on board the Titanic, there are first-hand reports of other colors being shot off that night. Does anybody else find that strange? That they only had white and green on board, but there's first-hand accounts of not white or green? I find that strange. I'm going to read you those reports on the next slide. These are the first-hand reports from survivors and crew of the nearby ships, Carpathia and California. Some recall white, others colors, some stars, others balls. Why is there so much variation in their memory so soon after the incident? And it says, QM Robert Hitchens, I did not take no particular notice of the color, sir. Some were green, some were red, and some were blue. All kinds of colors. And some white, sir. I think if I remember rightly, they were blue. Lookout Reginald Lee. No colored rocket. After being asked, colored or only white, he responded, no, colored rockets. He remembered colored. First class passenger Arthur, I can't read it. A good deal like an ordinary skyrocket. going up and breaking with the different colors flying down. So he remembers a multicolored rocket going off. And so does Third Officer Herbert Pittman. Various colors when asked if they were red. Fourth Officer Joseph Boxhall says, just white stars, bright. Second Officer Charles Lightoller, principally white, almost white. Californian Second Officer Herbert Stone, they were all white, just white. And Californian Second Donkeyman, that's a donkeyman, Ernest Gill, they looked to me to be pale blue or white. Does anybody else find that weird? Because I find that really weird. No one said green, by the way. I don't know if you noticed. The only colors on board were white and green, and no one said green.
That shouldn't be.
No. Okay, so distress signal, rockets or shells throwing red stars fired one at a time at short intervals. Yet, no one remembers red. I can't read that, Jeff. Can you zoom in? Okay. So this is the post. It starts, it's too close. I can't read. It's too close. I'm still confused. There's no way to get a happy medium. It just goes all the way in.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the person's confused about the colors, the issue of the color. What color is it supposed to be? Again, determined there was no standard in 1912. A mini-series on CBS has the captain complaining about the rockets being white instead of red. And then there's this whole issue of Captain Lord of the Californian not responding because the rockets, the other way please, were not red. But red was not the standard. And there was no red on board the Titanic. So, I don't know. It is confusing. And I think it's confusing because it is a Mandela. So, it's my opinion. The captain of the Titanic may have prevented their rescue by ordering the flares be set off at 5 to 6 minute intervals. Some accounts state as much as 8 minutes between each flare. Most importantly, like I said earlier, it wasn't the color that mattered. It was the interval between the flares that would signal distress to other ships, like a form of Morse code. Can you zoom in again, please, because it's important.
How do I
Just
get it to
zoom
this?
in and go with my reading. No international standard for distress rockets back in 1912. We know that they're silvery white. Per the rules and regulations of the day, the rockets could be of any color. Go back the other way. The signals should be fired at 1 minute intervals. Titanic's rockets were fired at roughly 7.5 minute intervals. The Californian did not recognize that they were distress rockets because of the intervals of the flares. So maybe they would have saved them had they been setting them off every minute. But I do believe the panic probably set in and they weren't setting them off as fast as they should have been. Okay, next slide. The nautical standard for needing rescue is strictly 1 minute intervals between flares. That is a huge difference from 5 to 8 minute intervals that the Titanic was setting off. So it was not the color, but the timing of the flares that made other ships ignore the Titanic's call for help. Of course, while researching this, I came across more things that did not match my memory. So I'm going to have questions in a second. I just want to read this really quick. They had to be fired at regular intervals within 1 minute. So because of the way they were shooting them off, you can zoom out. I'm going to paraphrase. Because they were shooting them off 5 to 8 minutes, other ships read it as instead of I'm in distress and need assistance, the meaning changed to navigational distress. This could mean things like there's ice in the area, so we're not moving, or hey, we're coming right for you. Switch directions, keep a lookout for us. We've lost control of the ship. Anything of that nature. But we need help had to have been 1 minute intervals. So that's basically what they're saying. The intervals of the flares were the reason why the Titanic wasn't saved. All of the people were. Anyway, next slide. Okay, question for the chat again, 1 or 2. Most of us can picture the Titanic sinking from the movie or from books, learning about it in school. In your memory, how did the Titanic sink? Did it split in half before or after it went underwater? So 1 is after and 2 is before. Do you remember the ship splitting from the pressure of the water underneath? Or do you remember it splitting above the surface of the water? 1 or 2? We just have a thinking from pushing buttons. Noise guru, but did it split while sinking above the water or below the water? Above is 2, below is 1. All right, so in the chat, we have Bonita with a 1, Pushing's guessing with a 1, Hanabi's a 1, High Pockets is a 1. Aiden, welcome. Aiden, Anna Betting is a 1. What do you remember, Jeff?
1.
And you saw the movie. Noise Guru is guessing 2. All right, we can go on. Right, Gammy. I forgot. I think I have this at 2 speed, so it sounds really weird. Just to give you a heads up. Oh, yeah, you can mute it. That's fine. That's perfect. Stay here. I'd love to read it. The 1997 movie clearly shows the ship breaking in 2 before the second half sinks, while the 1958 version, which is what we are watching right now, A Night to Remember, shows the ship sinking vertically in one piece. I have a memory of both because I saw the movie and I thought it was weird that the ship broke on the water in the second in Titanic. The ship broke above the surface. And I thought that was weird because I always thought it went really high vertically and then went straight down, like they're showing here. Hi, Michael Fontaine.
Hey, Michael Fontaine.
Now we can go on. So here's the man's excuse. I'm saying possible. Until the ship was found in 1985, it was widely believed that the Titanic sank as a full ship, which explains why the 2 movies show the sinking differently. But again, when did the Titanic come out? 98? So 13 years after they found the ship, I still believed when it sank in one piece. And that the pressure of the water is what caused it to split. So the split was proven in 1985. And that is the possible man's excuse. Yes, they are going by eyewitness accounts. There's conflicting eyewitness accounts on everything. Michael, you missed the part with the flares where there was only white and green on the ship, but people remember rainbow color. They remember blue and red. And there was only white and green on the ship. Eyewitness accounts. All messed up. However, it is more likely to have split underwater due to the massive pressure under the water than on the surface. So why did it split? And did this split surprise you like it did me in the 1997, I thought it was 98 film, when you first saw it? It surprised me because at that time I believed it sank in one piece. I know they're being facetious, 2078. I thought that was hilarious. All right, here's a question you should all be able to answer. Okay? I want participation. There's 18 of you. Come on, this is an easy question, you would think. This may sound like a stupid question, but humor me, please. What caused the Titanic to sink? Jeff? What do you remember? Jeff?
Not sure.
You don't know what caused the Titanic to sink?
Oh, that's right. The iceberg. Yeah.
Let's stay here. Wait for some answers. Hold on. Told you. It sounds like a stupid question, but it's not. There you go. We got one. Okay, so Hanabi is an iceberg. Benita is an iceberg. Josh is an iceberg. Shabbat's iceberg. Not a conspiracy. Esoteric, welcome, says iceberg. Noise Guru says a fire in the boiler room. High Pocket says iceberg. All right, we can go on now. I believe this could be the biggest Mandela effect of all concerning the Titanic. If you asked me why the Titanic sank, I would say the same thing that most of you are saying. The iceberg. It did strike an iceberg. That didn't change. Okay, Jeff. But in this reality, the Titanic should have survived the iceberg. There was an additional reason that not only explains its sinking, but also explains why it split in two on the surface of the water. A reason that has been around since 1912. Yeah, Jeff. So yes or no in your past, you're seeing the answers in the chat. Was the maiden voyage of Titanic sailing with an uncontrolled fire that burned for 4 to 5 days?
What?
Yes or no in the chat.
Hell?
Yes or no. Was there an uncontrolled fire burning on the Titanic for 4 to 5 days? Benita is a no. Never heard of that, says Hanami. Noise Guru. Where's Noise Guru at? Noise Guru says, okay, iceberg. But you were right. Aiden says, no. That's what I said.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Let's see. Noise Guru says yes. I'll let you guys read the conspiracy. Pushing Button says, I don't know. Josh, I agree. It was supposed to be iceberg proof, but it sank from hitting one because. Well, you'll see because very shortly. Michael Fontaine hasn't heard of that. Why not? All right, we can go on. In this version of history, this fire has always existed. The White Star Line tried to cover it up. The iceberg struck the exact spot where the fire was burning. That is why it wasn't iceberg proof, because the hull was damaged, which affected the structural strength of the steel and made it more vulnerable to tearing. The iceberg did hit it. Don't get me wrong. It's just that the steel wasn't as strong because of the fire. Yes, it was a coal fire. Yes. We're going to get to that. Next slide. Okay. The Titanic leaving Belfast on April 2nd, 1912. The black streak can be seen just above the waterline. It's also like dented. Can you zoom in on that picture? I have more zoomed in pictures, but just let them see. Do you see how it's like dented? And that's about where the iceberg clipped it. It's warped from the heat of the coal fire burning, and it's destroying the structural integrity of the steel. At the bottom it says, it was weakened by a coal fire. The hull had been weakened by a coal fire. I can't read it. It's too below it. Zoom out, Jeff. Blazing in the bows of the passenger ship. So here's a close-up of the black streak. And it says, mountain of ice may have happened to strike the exact spot where the hull had been weakened by a coal fire blazing in the bows of the passenger ship.
So, for decades, we have been told that an iceberg sunk the Titanic. It has been documented time and time again. But now the ice that we thought brought down the unsinkable ship may have actually been fire. Is the world's most famous iceberg
right ahead!
being put on ice?
Iceberg right ahead! Stop!
Did fire and ice team up to sink the Titanic? That's what a new documentary scheduled to air later this month on the Smithsonian Channel says.
New evidence of an overlooked incident afflicting the super ship.
Look at this anomaly in the hull. Wow.
Titanic expert Seanan Maloney says recently uncovered photos show a 30-foot mark on the Titanic's hull.
The first thing that struck us was that this is the exact location, not only where the iceberg strikes, but also where there had been a spontaneous coal fire all through the maiden voyage in 1912.
Maloney says surviving firemen from the ship spoke about the fire when they reached land.
Quoted every one of them as saying that there was a serious fire on board.
Even if we never heard about it from Leonardo or Kate.
I'm flying!
More like frying below decks. It's believed the coal fire had burned for days as crew members tried to put it out.
That level of temperature is robbing the steel. It's turning it soft, so it's losing 75% of its strength.
Weakening the hull right where the iceberg hit. So was the iceberg getting a bad rap?
It was not the iceberg acting alone. The iceberg had co-conspirators, if you like.
It would be ironic if fire would take some of the heat off the iceberg. And this fire theory apparently isn't new. It's been smoldering for years now. It was even addressed briefly at the official inquiry, but was played down as a possible cause for actually sinking the ship.
My mind is blown.
It's fascinating. It's
crazy.
For sure, yeah. So, for decades, we have been told that an iceberg sunk the Titanic. It has been documented.
So this has always been known. That clip was from 2017. I have no memory of there being an uncontrolled fire in the 3-story tall coal bunkers. There was no mention of the fire when I saw the Titanic expedition at the Franklin Institute in 2012 either.
Sounds like your typical reality insert.
Mm-hmm. The image shows the side of the Titanic warped and discolored from the searing heat of the uncontrolled fires that arrived in Belfast, the first leg of its maiden voyage. This Titanic museum shows the iceberg striking exactly where the fire had been burning for nearly a week. Oh, Josh just took an update. I'm kidding. Actually, I think I do have also have a memory of fire going for days. Based on, oh wait, stop. I want everyone to look at this white star line poster. It looks like the T's, first of all, the handwritten T's are cut off. They're both on the right side of the T. And the S looks like a T. So it looks like white tar. White titar.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out. So anyhow, based on investigations going back to 1912, none of this information should have been new for us. We should have all known there was a massive fire on the Titanic and that the unsinkable ship actually sank, breaking in two because a fire weakened the hull where the iceberg struck. Is this a Mandela effect for any of you? Because it is for me.
Me too.
It's okay, Josh. We all get updates sometimes. Bonus possible third reality. In 2019, Theresa noticed the color of the smokestacks. Once red were now yellow. And for the most part, they still are. Yellow and residue of red can still be found. But, next slide. Do any of you recall any other color besides red or yellow? If yes, tell me the color. If no, just say no. Jeff, do you recall any other color besides red or yellow?
No.
Aiden says chartreuse.
That sounds about right.
Benita says no. Noise Guru says black. Hanavi says no. High Pocket says no. Guys, I actually wrote I can't in this presentation. I did. Michael Fontaine stopped. Wasn't it orange? No. Now we're going to go on. We're going on right now. Guys, look at that. What is that? Oh my gosh. So far, I haven't found anything official showing white smokestacks, but I am finding art, people remembering white. So I just want to make everyone aware. Keep your eyes open for white smokestacks just in case. But that's not why I'm bringing this up. Hey, Mustard Seed of Faith. No, they still have it's like copper in the Titanic. It's weird. Okay, red, yellow, white, and I can't, guys. What color are you seeing on that screen? Because I'm seeing pink.
Yep.
It's pink. Officially, though, the smokestacks were buff. A mix of red and yellow, officially called White Star Pink or White Star Buff. I've seen it as both names. Has anyone ever seen the Titanic with White Star Pink or White Star Buff? The special thing about this paint was it looked more yellow in like normal sunlight, but then when it was overcast, it looked pink. And that is just like, no. So Benita says no. Aiden's a no. You can go to the next slide. We have more pictures. So here's some tannish looking yellowish buff. And then there's the pink buff again. These are actual photographs of the Titanic at the bottom. The rest is just pictures. I agree it looks strange, Hanavi, because it was not our reality. Next. a painting where they literally painted everything pink. There's a model with white smokestacks at the top, or off-white. A colorized painting where they did the smokestacks in white star buff. Here's a model in a museum with white star buff stacks. A poster. I think the next one's the last slide, and we're finally done with Titanic. Jeff? Oh. So here's more stuff about the fire. I don't even know what's on the next slide. It's probably just more pictures. Yeah, just lots of stuff talking about the fire that I've never heard about. Okay. What's next, Jeff? We're moving along, guys. There's still 4 new ones to go through. You gonna read this one?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. I need a break.
Credits Sajar Mandela effect.
Jose Martinez. He wanted me to say his name too. It's not
Yeah.
fun.
Millions of Muslims make a pilgrimage to Mecca every year, with the first and final stop of their journey being the Kaaba, which houses the Holy Stone.
Now, I don't know. I did not know this one, guys. So if you don't know, it's okay. But if you do know, and if you know more information when I ask, please don't fill me in. So go ahead.
Question 1. Where did the Holy Stone come from? A meteorite that fell from Saturn. B, a meteorite that fell from heaven. C, it's an angel that God placed in the Garden of Eden to guard Adam.
Noise Guru is a B. Michael Fontaine is watching both shows. Hey, Philo.
Hey, Philo.
High Pockets is I don't know. Benita is not sure. Hanavi is don't know. Aiden is don't know. I didn't know either, so it's okay.
And I don't know either.
We've been on about 50 minutes, Philo. Pushing buttons is saying B. Okay, question 2. Go ahead, Jeff.
What color is the Holy Stone of Mecca? White, black, or red?
So A or B for Ryogami when it comes to the last question. Noise Guru says, or Benita says black. Noise Guru says black. Michael Fontaine says black. That's interesting. The StreamYard chat is delayed, whereas the regular, on my phone, I can see the chat moving. Hi, Philo. Pushing buttons is guessing white. Black stone is what I remember, says Ryogami. Philo is black. Interesting you have that one there, Philo. All right, we can go to the next one.
All right. And I have no clue on this one.
Yeah, I had no idea. Question 3. Go ahead, Jeff.
The stone is surrounded by silver for protection. Which encasement size do you recall? Thick or thin?
So you can say 1 or 2 if that's easier in the chat. Thick or thin, 1 or 2. And then you can say what that looks like. I'm not even going to say it. But there is an update. It's going to say update 2 because 2 things changed on me while I was making this presentation. And this was the second thing that changed. So it says update 2 because there's another update that happened before this updated. So I had 2 things change in front of my eyes in this presentation. Where did you go, Jeff? Oh no, are we losing Jeff? I think we're losing Jeff because he's not responding. Well, let's get some answers while we wait for Jeff to get back. Pushing buttons says black absorbs O. The emoji remembers black, except that's a different thing. That's the building. We're going to get to that. Pushing buttons is guessing 1, so thick. There he goes. Michael Fontaine is thin. Noise Guru is thick. Ryogami is guessing thick. Benita, I'm not putting that on the screen. That's hilarious. Let's see. Josh says no. Uh-oh, Jeff is gone. He's still not back, guys. Interesting. They don't let you kiss the stone. Guys, I can't show anything unless Jeff gets back here. So I am going to text him really quick. And he's still not back. So how is everyone doing tonight? Let's just talk because I can't do anything else but talk. His computer just shut off. That's fantastic. Is it coming back up? Pushing buttons is doing well. That's good. Jeff is back. Thank goodness. Welcome back.
Sorry about that. Computer shut off on me.
Yeah, I told him it's okay. Probably too many tabs open.
Probably.
This is why I don't even know what year, 2011, I think it is. 2011 or 2013 MacBook that Brian sent. I can't do StreamYard with it. It can't handle the load. And your laptop's new.
Yeah, it's been doing this since I got it. Every time.
Whenever you're ready, we'll put you back in. It's lunchtime. Where are you, Ryogami?
Should be on the presentation now.
Nope, you're not back. You're not presenting.
What?
You're not back there. Noise Guru says you need to upgrade your RAM.
Here we go. Hopefully somebody knows how to do that. They can tell me.
Okay. So this update I'm going to read real quick and then you can continue.
All right.
So when this presentation was almost completely done, all of my pictures changed. Okay. It went from an oval to a pointed oval. Does anyone remember it round? Like, which one do you remember? Left or right? Do you remember it pointed or do you remember it rounded? That's what I'm asking. When you think about the stone in the silver, do you remember the silver pointed or rounded? Philo is left question mark. We're going to have real pictures of it, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But we can go on because Philo's the only one who answered. No, I'm asking you if you remember it pointed or rounded, Aiden. Pushing buttons doesn't know. Jeff, are you gone again?
No.
Oh, okay. I said you can go on since no one knows. And you can continue with the questioning.
Question 4. Which size Kaaba best matches your Mecca?
So, Philo, you put the Kaaba in the chat when you said black. Which size do you remember? Do you remember it being very big or just a small little building? I don't know, Philo. See, Philo, I didn't even know what this was. But Jose has very different memories on this. That's why I'm asking all these questions. Pushin would say 1. Philo says very big. Noise Guru says 1. It was easily walk-in size. Well, they're both walk-in size, but one is very big and the other one is like 15 feet high, we'll say. The other one's probably about 25 or 30 feet high. All right, we can go on, Jeff.
The holy stone is housed in the Kaaba, the holiest site in the Muslim religion. It is a building at the center of the holiest mosque in Mecca.
Don't ask me why I didn't say Islam. But anyway, go on.
I have no idea about this one, but Jose is adamant that nothing is right about this mosque or the stone inside it. He doesn't even remember the columns encircling the Kaaba in the center of the mosque.
Do you guys remember the columns? Because Jose does not. You can go on, Jeff. Yes, I am Catholic.
Jose remembers number 2. The size of the building was much smaller in Jose's past. It was a cube approximately 10 feet high. But in this reality, it's not even a cube. It's 50 feet high, and the base is 35 by 40 feet. Do you remember it this large and asymmetrical?
So stay here a second. Jose even shifted on me because he said 10 feet. Then he changed it to 15 feet. And then, do you guys remember it being a cube or do you remember it being asymmetrical? Hi, Caesar. Welcome.
Hi, Caesar.
I don't think you are, Philo. We'll see. So Pusher remembers a cube. And Caesar remembers it large and symmetrical. So they are remembering the cube, but it's not. It's asymmetrical now. Not to scale. No, not to scale at all. Philo is a cube. So here's the blocks. Good, Jeff.
He also remembers the Kaaba being all black. However, it's actually made of gray stone, but covered by a heavy curtain. It is possible that at one time it was all black, but I have not been able to find it that way. Does anyone else remember the covering being all black?
It's called a kiswa. A kiswa or kiswa. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. So if I am, if I'm not, I'm sorry. But anyway, the kiswa. Does anyone remember it completely black? So Josh does remember with gold horizontal lines. Caesar said it's trippy.
Well, you mean the cue.
I know. A prayer room, yes. Josh remembers black, but you also said gold horizontal lines. All black says pushing buttons.
Both, says Josh Phoenix.
Both. There you go, next one. It's the first update. Here you go. Okay, Jeff.
Update. Do you remember all black? Covering or kiswa has never been all black. The kiswa is changed every year. The color and pattern are changed by the, how do you pronounce it?
Caliphs.
Caliphs and rulers, so colors can stay the same for years to centuries, but it has never been a solid color with no decorative patterns.
Do you guys remember all these patterns? Or ever learning of all these patterns? Because we weren't alive for all these patterns. The circus tent. Red, white, green, gold. I'm not putting that on the screen. But one says no. I don't want you to take me down. Tyler says no, pretty though. Benita's a no. You on, Jeff? I think we got pictures now. So they replace it every year with the current design. But any ruler or caliph can change the design at any time. But it's been black for a very long time. Noise Guru has seen the different covers. Just the black for Ryogami. Aiden says the circus tent is apropos.
Huh? What does that mean?
I'm looking it up. I don't know. Very appropriate to a particular situation or concerning. It's concerning. There you go.
Okay.
Fitting. It means fitting, says Viola.
As much as I want to comment on that, I won't.
Well, we live in clown world. Why wouldn't there be a circus tent?
Right, yeah. The mythology around the stone has two stories that are both different from Jose's memory. He remembers a number one, a meteorite that fell from Saturn. However, 2 and 3 can both be found as how the stone arrived on Earth.
So, as a refresher, One was a meteorite that fell from Saturn. That is what Jose remembers. Number 2 is a meteorite that fell from Jana, the heavens. And that is one of the beliefs. And the other accepted belief is it was placed by an angel, by God. It was an angel placed by God to protect Adam. That was number 3. So those of you that said B was number 2. You are correct.
But the most interesting part for me is the color of the stone. Its name is the Black Stone of Mecca. Muslims believe the stone was originally white but turned black from absorbing all the sins from people touching the stone.
You can go on. There you go.
And while the stone appears black in most images, high-definition photos were recently released from Mecca showing an entirely different picture.
So guys, a lot of you remember the black stone. I'm going to show you a very different picture of the stone.
The stone is actually red with bits of multiple colors mixed in. How can the color look so different in hundreds of photos?
Anyone? Anyone ever see it red before? It was always black, says Red Storm. Welcome.
So it's called the Black Stone, but it's not actually black?
I don't know what's happening. I think because of the material, it's like the glassy material of a meteorite. I think it can appear black in different lighting and red in other lighting. You're going to see images where it looks black, but also has a tinge of red. Like here on the left side, it's got that tinge of red in there.
Yeah.
But it kind of looks black. It looks black, but it has the red too. And Philo says, no, bloodstone. Yeah, it doesn't look right. Noise Guru said it's been replaced by treasure hunters.
Also, did anyone know that there are actually 2 stones in the Kaaba? Black stone or al-Rukn al-Aswad
Yeah.
is in the corner, going through the wall for visitors to touch to have their sins absorbed, forgiven, and here's where I get confused. I'm hoping a Muslim can clarify because I'm sure I will get this one. The other stone is the, what is that, Hajar? Asada, whatever, or stone of felicity. The only information I can verify is that it sits opposite the black stone in the Yemeni corner. There's an image of a deep black stone in the Kaaba surrounded by gold, but I do not know if it is the opposite side of the black stone or the stone of felicity.
It's very hard to find information on this stuff. And why is that gold? Anyone? Was it surrounded by gold at one time?
But just like the black stone, the Yemeni corner is touched or kissed to have a pilgrim's sins forgiven. The cornerstone is left uncovered and made up of a special kind of concrete that, as be reinforced.
Yeah, that's an autocorrect. That has been reinforced.
Has been reinforced the same way for thousands of years to prevent the stone from disintegrating.
All right, guys, you remember that silver thing being so pointy like that? You know what it reminds me of? Those things you twist on a screw to tighten it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Like I said, this is all new information for me, but for those of you familiar with the Kaaba and stone, is any of this information new for you? Do you remember the large Kaaba or the stone being red?
Wing nut. Thank you, Noise Guru. I could not get the word in my head.
Yeah, I couldn't either. I knew what you were talking about, but I couldn't think of the name.
Do you guys recall the silver part looking like a wing nut? Because I was studying this and it didn't. And then all of a sudden it did. I agree, Red Storm. I'm not saying it, but I agree 100%.
Yeah.
But the PG version of what it looks like is a wing nut.
Let us know in the comments below, and thank you again to Stajar Mandela Effect for sharing his find.
Thank you, Jose. So now we have more pictures. This is again, these are my original drawings on the left. And it looked more like on the right. This is a drawing of the black stone, their interpretation of it. It was rounded. It was an oval. It was not pointed at all when I first looked at this. And then I went back to it the next day and it was all pointed. Jose's in the chat. You just realized there's two stones.
Hi, Jose.
And the gold. So guys, look how pointy this is. Do you honestly remember it that pointy? Because I'm sorry, it changed right in front of my eyes. It was not pointy at all. It did not look like a female opening, and it did not look like a wing nut when I originally started covering this.
So the shape now is a pointed top and bottom, another obscene shape, pattern that we continuously see with the Mandela effect.
Red Storm just got the wing nut. Jose saying hi to everyone. Here's more pictures of the red stone, the black red stone. Someone drew it red. So this is all images of current reality. I did find some residue of the prayer building being smaller, the way Jose remembers it. That's coming up at the end. Hang on. There's like 3 more slides before we get to the green. Jose, I don't know if you were looking, but a couple people remembered all black like you did for the covering. The kiswa. Jose, I believe, does not remember there being a kiswa, though, just remembers the building being black. And it seems like everyone remembers it being a symmetrical cube, but it is not a symmetrical cube. It's more of a very thick rectangle. And here's some residue. You can see with the people standing next to it, it's much smaller in these pictures. And that is that. Very good. So coming up next is the one that has a ridiculous amount of residue. So when we get to the residue, we are going to fly by it until I say stop. Like there's certain things I want to show, but there's a ton. So if you guys want to see all the residue, you can always go to my Flickr account and look for yourself. Take your time and see the residue up close. But there's like 30 pieces of residue. We're flying through them. Okay. I may be completely alone on this one, but I know it's wrong for me, so I'm asking. What is the name of this flag? I can't say it because it's spelled so differently that it sounds differently. So, the GAD flag. And I know you have the current memory, Jeff. It's okay.
So I was watching Steven Crowder, and him and a couple of other people on the show were saying it the way you remember.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, and then they were like correcting themselves, saying like they say it wrong all the time or whatever.
Well, Noise Guru remembers Gadsen. Anyone else? I got Gadsen for Analog Lime.
I really think I actually just took an update on this one.
At least you can admit it. I'm kidding. Never heard the name, just the flag, says Michael Fontaine. It's okay if you know it is present. Ryogami remembers Gadsdon. I have an anchor memory with this one. It's a strong anchor memory. That's why I went insane with the residue. Let's see. Red Storm says, I never knew. It's okay. Gadsen for Sagarm, Jose. Pushing Buttons doesn't know, and that's okay. Now you all will know that didn't know. We can go on. It was easy for me to remember this flag's name because my stepdad's name was one letter off in spelling. His last name was Gadren. The R and the S were the only difference. But now there are 2 extra letters. I remember Gadsen. Okay, Jeff. But like Ryogami and Jeff remember, it's always been Gadsdon. Gadsden flag in this reality. It is. It's Gadsden now. Yes, they will, Red Storm. Yes, they will. Well, here we go. This history website has no idea how to spell this guy's name. Christopher Gadsden designed the flag, so he will be part of the residue. And he had a grandson named James Gadsden, who was famous for something else. But as you can see, this history site says Christopher Gadsen more than once.
Always a clue that we're onto something.
Mm-hmm. We've all heard of the Louisiana Purchase. Have you ever heard of the Gadsdon Purchase? Again, I have residue of the Gadsen Purchase and James Gadsen too. So, is this new for anyone? The Gadsden Purchase, or have you all heard of this?
Sounds familiar to me.
Benita says no. Preliminals at the beach. Yes, it was from the Revolutionary War. High pockets. Hang on. Push a button says sounds kind of familiar. Noise Guru is a no.
Nice residue.
This is nothing. Just you wait. Like I said, you're going to want to go through these fast, and I'll tell you, wait, stop. Gadsen, go on. Okay, Patriot Crew doesn't know how to spell his name. Gadsen Flag. Christopher Gadsen. Okay, stop here. So, the writings of Christopher Gadsen is referenced in a paper, but it's the writings of Christopher Gadsden. So, showing you the book at the top. Hey, Ryan Spur. Hang on. Okay, this is the American Battlefield Trust. They don't know how to spell his name either. Next.
You would think they'd all get the name right.
Yeah, these, especially, these places.
But everybody's getting everything wrong in this reality.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing's going on, right?
No.
Give me a break.
You can go on. Okay, so that paper no. I'm sorry. This is a very old magazine that's out of order. There's another one with the first pages, but it's like a historical magazine, and you can tell by the type that it's old. And General Christopher Gadsen is all throughout this magazine.
And they wouldn't get that wrong.
You stop presenting. Oh no. Jeff was in the middle of talking. That means we lost Jeff. Oh God, his computer restarted again. It's just to be us for a little while, guys. Uh-oh, is right. And we're still waiting for him to disappear. Oh no. Alright, guys, so any Mandela effects you heard about recently? They're new? Orion Spur says it was the aliens. They abducted Jeff. Oh, I think his computers are reading. I think he's doing too much on it. Not the aliens, but the men in black got Jeff. Jeff is back already. That was quick.
Yeah, I don't understand why this keeps happening. The aliens keep abducting me.
No, the men in black too.
All right, let's get back into
Yeah,
this
Pepsi
here.
looks funky to me. I'll have to check it out. Probably is. Okay, so you can go on. Just saying Gadsen flag over and over again, Christopher Gadsen. This is Los Angeles. I'm in shock that there's a Gadsen flag flying in Los Angeles, but it is. And there's residue. Savage American Woodworking makes Gadsen flags and don't know what the flag is called. This is great. This is a news station. Can you zoom in on the bottom, Jeff? I can't read that. Jeff? Are you there?
Yeah.
Can you zoom in on the bottom? I can't read it. The Gadsen flag with the words "Don't tread on me." Okay. This is an educational site, K through 12. Christopher Gadsen, the Gadsen flag. They're teaching kids that it's Gadsen. I
Never seen them.
Yeah, so I said you can move through these quickly. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's all over the place, exactly the way you remember. Imagine that.
Imagine that. Keep going. Keep going. This is the William and Mary Journal of Race, Gender, and Social Justice, and they got Gadsen all over the place too.
And as I was going to say before my computer crapped out on me again, all these people would do their research to make sure they got it right. Which
Especially
means it
for
was
research
right.
papers.
Yeah, which means it was right at one time.
I'm not putting that up on the screen. Yeah, if you go watch my video, Red Storm, I have some residue there of Smokey the Bear. The last video that I did. The 20 YouTubers, creators affected by the Mandela effect. Actually, I changed the name. I think it's like proof everyone's affected by the Mandela effect, something like that.
Yeah, everyone's affected, whether they want to admit it or not.
All right, so this one is an actual plaque inside some sort of museum. The Gadsen purchase. Twice.
Now, why would they get that wrong? No way.
You'd think. There's a lot. You can just keep going. License plate, drawing from Flickr from 2004. Here's an article from the New York Times, Gadsen flag. Go ahead. A sticker, Gadsen flag. Go ahead. Okay, this one's interesting. Recently in the news, a child was kicked out of school for having a patch of the Gadsen flag on his backpack. The email says Gadsen at the top. The email is attached below, and the school wrote Gadsen as well. This is a presentation with a map showing the Gadsen purchase. And really, Jeff, we can just switch presentations. Now there's so much. You're probably not even half done yet. And you see them all. There's so much.
Yeah.
So much. There is one. Can you flip? Just keep flipping until you get to the envelopes.
That's actually the last one right there.
No, we missed one. There's one that maybe you skipped over it.
Probably. Yeah.
There it is, right there. There's an envelope that says Gadsen purchase. Can't. All right.
Everybody getting that wrong? Not likely.
I don't think so, Preliminal. I just think a lot of them are in denial or scared. They're scared to face what it means. Reality shouldn't change. But it does. Hey, General Sorrow.
Hey, General Sorrow.
No, I do not remember Inspector Gadget having a mustache.
He did in one episode. Like the first one, and then he never had one again. I was obsessed with that show when I was a kid.
Too weird for many. I agree with that. Thank you, General Sorrow. Look at that. That would be the word. We're in flux.
Yeah.
All right. You gonna take this one now? Take the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. This one has video.
All right. As you can probably tell by now, animation and Disney was a big part of my life from childhood into my young adult years. Recently, I saw one of Disney's birthday celebrations on YouTube. First thing I noticed was the merged logo. Now you could say it was due to the image quality. There it goes, skipping on me again. But thankfully, people don't throw things away.
Right? Yeah, it's an autocorrect again. Throw.
Throw things away. So we have clear images of the 1986 logo that is 100% merged.
Even on the float. YEARS. Completely merged in 1986.
I visited Walt Disney World. I can't even talk here. In 1986. I was only 10, but I remember a lot of that vacation, so I find it really strange that I have no memory of these cars parked in front of the Magic Kingdom. Some of the prizes they were giving away every 15 seconds.
I don't remember the contest either. I don't remember that they're giving away stuff every 15 seconds. I have no memory of this, but that could be because I was 10 and maybe my parents do. I don't know, but you'd think I'd remember the cars sitting out front with that big alarm clock. I don't remember that at all.
I also have no memory of this larger contest clock explaining the giveaway schedule with 15s for every hour.
Does this look familiar to anyone?
Not to me.
It did. Every hour on the hour it chimed for prizes, apparently.
And I really don't remember this photo op birthday cake in Epcot, despite Epcot being my favorite park, even as a 10-year-old. Nope.
No memory of the cake.
Me either. Epcot was my favorite, too. But the weirdest thing I saw, I cannot find any information on, with the exception of a forum thread asking the same thing I'm going to ask you.
Don't read the forum. Just keep going.
Okay.
It's the only thing online talking about this. I can't find any other information except for these clips I'm about to show you, which is crazy. Just read first, then hit play.
Does any
Oh, you might have to pause it.
Apparently, they were featured on parades and could be seen skating around the park, but I've never seen them before in my life.
Jeff, you cut out. Does anyone remember the Walt Disney World inline skating performers? Anyone? Anyone in the chat remember inline skating performers in Disney World? Just skating around the park in parades. Go ahead, Jeff, play it for him. Let him see what we all missed. What I missed walking around the park in 1986. I think I muted it. I did good. Because I did not need a copyright from Disney.
No.
And what stinks is I would have loved to have left the song on because it's Zippity Doo Dah, which I covered a while ago. There's a Mandela effect in the song. Mr. What's on My Shoulder? Do you guys remember these skaters? Because I have no memory of these people. Anyone remember inline skaters at Disney World? And Jeremy Sorrow was a big nope. Pushing buttons is a no. Super Mario Brothers, I'm not going to say it, but I'm putting it on the screen.
He wasn't alone. That's enough of these guys.
Yeah, they are tearing it up. Oh, this one has sound. We'll just talk over it. It's okay.
Yeah. Again, I was at Walt Disney World in 1986 for the 15th birthday celebration. I was in the park when these skaters were supposedly skating around guests and performing in parades. The only info online is the TV special and this one forum post. No pictures, memories, nothing.
Yeah, we're going to keep talking over that. Okay.
Does anyone remember these things? The contest, clock, cake. Does anyone remember skaters flying around the park? The skaters sounds super dangerous, in my opinion, especially with little kids running everywhere. Let me know in the comments below.
Because, yeah, that's the thing. Like, they're inline skaters. They're moving at a good speed with people all around walking. I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah, how does that even work?
I don't even know. I don't even know. I have no memory of them. Okay, last one is one of the weirder ones. I told you there was weird stuff tonight. This is definitely weird stuff. Wouldn't you all agree? It's another one where it's not gone from our reality. It's just variations galore. All right, everyone. This is the last one for tonight. I have a weird one for you. What I remember is still the current way. There are alternate forms that never existed in my past. I'm curious to know if they were part of yours. Please complete the cheer. I can't say it. Just complete it in the chat, please. What do you remember? So we have Hanavi coming in with hip hip hooray. General Sorrow, hip hip hooray. Aha. We have Orion Spur with hip hip hooray. Well, actually, the other way is hooray. Hooray. If I knew what I know now is hip hip hooray. Hi, welcome. Esoteric says hip hip hooray. High Pockets is hip hip hooray. Noise Guru is just hip hip. Oh, Orion Spur is correcting to hooray. Hip hip who says pushing buttons. Wow, this is jumping on me. Aiden says hip hip. Hip hip Hungary. Says General Sorrow. Hip hip hooray says Rayagami. I know, it's a question, isn't it? Hooray feels somewhat correct. I don't know. I know. I'm with you. Jeff, what do you remember?
Hip hip hooray.
How do you remember hooray?
HOORAY.
All right, we can go on. In my past, there was no other variation. It was just hip, hip, hooray. But not here. There's more. But you guys, you know, it wasn't just the hooray part. Does anyone recall hep, hip, hooray? I've only found this version on this one ad from the 1970s. That's not true, though. I did find more since then. But also look at the Slurpee cup. The word Slurpee to the right is not merged, but the cup, it is merged, the U and the R. Anyone ever hear hep hip? It's jumping too fast. I got a what the from Hanavi. I got heppies from General Sorrow. Hep hip question mark from Orion Spur. No from High Pockets. No from Pushing Buttons. I don't. Well, we're gonna get into that actually. I can't put that on the screen, Aiden.
What do you write? Oh my God.
I can't.
That's awesome.
Okay, we're gonna go on. Or how about hep hep? Apparently, it's used as hip hip, the name of a game show, children's game, and a racial slur. Oh my gosh, I can't. Anyone ever hear hep hep? Yeah, a lot of people are having to do a memory on the hooray, hooray, Jose. Apparently so, General Sorrow. We got a never from Hon. We got a no from High Pockets. Jeff, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I got scared for a second. All right, next slide. It also appears to be used in place of hip hip, and it's also a song. Hep hep hooray. Anyone ever hear the song before? Because I sure haven't. Right, Gadsden says hep hep nope. Mind blown for Jose. This last part could be due to the spelling in another language. Two movies, both named Hip Hip Hooray. Have you ever seen hooray spelled hooray before? So here is hooray for those who remember it. Orion Spur says, this is just wrong, wrong, wrong. I agree.
Me too.
So here's a lot of hep hep hoorays. But again, this was a children's TV show in another country. Hep hep hooray. And there's a game. Kodak jumped over the movies. So here's hip hip hooray with a U that's not related to the movies. In the top left, strawberry. And then here's two different movies, one from 1948, one from the 1970s, I believe, or 80s. So there you go. There's hip hip hooray with a U. Jeff? Okay, so this trade tattler is from the US and they have hep hip, like 7-Eleven. Hep hip hooray. Never. Can you zoom in on the middle, please? The anti-Semitic origins of hip hip hooray. Supposedly, hep hep derives from the medieval something for Jerusalem is lost, the Latin acronym. Supposedly is the right word they use. I remember Casbah with a K. I think I covered that one. Okay, so here's more hep hep hoorays. Hip hip hooray comes from the German word hep hep, which was a harmless call to shepherds that shepherds would use when herding their sheep. Thank you, Super Mario. Here's hep hip hooray, hep hep hooray, hep hep hooray, and hep hep hooray. No, I don't. I think that's just the mainstream media lie. Jeff? Oh, right over the residue. Here is the current reality. I mean, it is the current reality, but this is what most of us remember is hip hip hooray. And then, you know, the last slide, we are done. Strange, I know, and hip hip hooray still exists, so I don't know what to make of this one. So that's it. That's all, folks. Hey, Barack. Pyridoxine just showed up in the chat. Oh, looks weird to me. At the very beginning. Are you there, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
All right, everyone.
Pyridoxine.
Huh?
Saying hi to Pyridoxine oxide.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. So I think that's it. Do you want to do a shout out before we leave?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Give me a minute. All right, we got Philo Fire, Benita Banks, Aiden, Ryugamin. Did I say that right?
Ryugamin. I don't know.
Ryugamin, Noise Guru, Josh Phoenix, Michael Fontaine, Red Storm, Honeybee, Sajon, Mandela Effect, Mustard Seed of Faith. Let's see, who else? Super Mario Brothers 3. High Pockets, Preliminal, Pushing Buttons 62. Hi, Ryan Spur.
You have everybody? Or did you miss some?
General Sorrow. Pyridoxine oxide. If I knew what I know now. Esoteric Eric.
Did you get Red Storm?
Yeah.
Let's see. Did you get Jose?
Yeah.
If he missed you, say hi in the chat, guys. I think you got
Noise
everyone.
Guru.
Well, that's going to be it for us tonight, guys. Next week, next Saturday, we're actually going to be talking. We may be switching to Friday. I haven't talked to Brian about it yet. But it seems like Brian misses a lot of Saturdays. And so does Esther. So we may be thinking of switching back to Fridays. But we'll let you know before that happens. And as of right now, we will see you next Saturday with Brian on my channel and his. And we just want to thank you all for coming here on such late notice. Because again, I found out last minute that Brian wasn't going to be here tonight. So thank you all for being here. And thank you to Jeff for being here with me tonight and presenting the show. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thanks everybody for coming and watching the show.
And participating.
Yep.
We love it when you participate. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a great night.
Have a great night, everybody.